Welcome everybody to an extra special tips and tricks video by JusticeSoulTuna. It has come to my attention that Lars cannot deal with Zangief's jabs to save his spiky-haired little life now. So I've been in the lab trying to figure out what the heck I'm supposed to do about it. Basically, a lot of his normals will either get beaten out, trade, they'll get stopped altogether, and Lars just has to kind of block and do nothing. Even if you try and do stuff from a distance, stuff like that will either, catch him randomly or you'll just go right into it. So I spent ages racking my brain trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do about it. And obviously you get these random stray hits like that, but like obviously this isn't really a viable solution because one, that's gonna happen right there, right? Mysterious stuff like this happens where I try to do lightning kick and it just whiffs. And even if I try to do lightning thrust, like that's gonna happen. Not only will it not hit him, Lars is just gonna get stuffed. So basically, the exasperating thing was, okay, so do I just do nothing? Do I just wait? Is the matchup just that bad? I kind of think I figured out solutions, plural. I thought I could keep it to myself, but I was debating over Twitter whether to do what the Japanese players do and share tech, even if it means that you can lose. Now, anyway, basically, in all seriousness, there's very little you can do besides trading 90% of the time. In fact, even with what I'm about to show you, you're still going to trade most of the time. Now, obviously, his Zangief's standing jab is very fast, as you can see. And chances are you're going to trade most of the time, especially if you don't space correctly. However, here are a couple of solutions, as it were. In the first place, what you really should just do is block, right? Unless the Zangief player is content doing this forever, chances are you don't really have to worry about it for that long. However, if this person is literally going to do this non-stop, like, there are one or two things you could do. Step 1, Falcon Punch. Now, Lars' standing heavy punch, standing fierce, has some forward movement, right? And so if you keep pressing it, eventually he'll travel across the screen, and it's lightning fast. If I recall correctly, in Tekken, this is his down back 1+2, so it's really fast. The thing is, if you space it correctly, you can hit him like that, right? But if you space it wrong, obviously you're just gonna get jabbed. Sometimes it's funny because if you do it correctly, you're gonna catch him in between his hits, but obviously you space it wrong, it's like that, right? So look at that. Like sometimes I hit his hand right out of the air, right? Too close. And sometimes I get a counter hit, or sometimes I get a trade, sometimes I get stuffed, etc. Right? So it's really tricky. Let me just reset it so we're back mid-screen. So I guess from about half screen, if you space it correctly, you can hit his hand. See, here's the weird thing, right? His actual palm, right, isn't really hitting me even from this close. I have to actually kind of walk into it. What's hitting me is actually his armband. If you pay close attention, it's his armband where the hitbox kind of begins. So if I kind of space it so I hit his armband, I'm hitting him and he can't do anything to me, right? Obviously if I space it wrong, then I'm screwed. Also, you'll notice that when I'm about this close, kind of close enough to get hit, sometimes Lars's punch will magically go underneath it and right to his chest like that. You see that? Obviously there it didn't work. There we traded. So it's like, I can't say that you want to rely on doing that, because look, every single time I try to go for it, I'm just gonna get hit out. There's kind of like some magical spacing right about here-ish where I'm able to hit him and he can't hit me. And it's not an exact science, so I don't recommend just going for it, because I mean, look at the amount of times I'm trying to do it. I recommend going for the one where you hit his palm, where it's like about there. I mean, don't get me wrong, while this is a possible strategy, this does not mean that your opponent won't figure out what you're doing and just whiff punish you, because Lars' standing heavy punch is very easy to whiff punish. That's something to remember. I guess you might say that a way to pay attention to spacing is look at the bar down here, the meter bar. Like, if you look at the cross gauge, you can kind of guess where you're supposed to stand. Don't stand so close to him that you're going to get hit. Don't stand so far away that, he's, on the other side of the world. Sort of stand where Lars is kind of standing in the cross gauge, a little bit outside of it, like that. Oh, I guess that was too much. So about there, where his foot's kind of, inside of it, but coming out of it. I guess outside, yeah, about there, you're gonna miss, right? I think it's something like, too close. Something like, See, I'm not hitting his hitbox. Ah, there we go. You have to experiment with the ranges. About there, you trade. I'm just trying to get that range, because you see what I mean? Like, if you pay attention, like, I'm going to pause it. You see how he's, like, pause right there? Like, aha, see? Right there, you're sort of hitting his wristband, but no one's getting hit. So you have to kind of catch the hitbox. It's really tricky, though. It's really tricky to do. And obviously, since the jab is so fast and the spaces in between it, sometimes you can't always get it. Anyway, mind you, this is not a definitive strategy. This is one of many. This is just one of a few things. The one that I'm actually trying to get across is probably the one I prefer. So, you know, this is basically if you want to trade. I don't really recommend it. And to be honest, it's better than most. You can also try stand medium punch, but stand medium punch suffers from the same thing. It's going to whiff, the range isn't that great, and often you trade. So, you go for stand heavy punch, which will magically catch him sometimes, like so, or, you know, it's going to catch you. Or stand medium punch if you're brave enough, so it really depends. Anyway, moving on. So the next one that I wanted to try is basically don't give a crap, jump right in there. Now this one's weird because let me show you something weird. Let me just show you something interesting. Check this out. Obviously, I'm out of his range, right? He can't hit me. About there, obviously if he moved forward, he'd get me. About there, where it's basically kind of blowing air in Lars's face, this kind of happens. Watch this. Did you see that? Right, oh, that was too far. Now I'm just getting hit. Aha. See, if I do that from about this range, I'm catching his hurt box. But it's not really that solid of a plan because obviously, as you can see, if you space it wrong, you get hit. You know, so it's not that simple. But there is a trick to it. If you hit him from a certain range, aha, I think I'm getting it there. If you hit him from a certain range, like really, basically, you have to practically be falling with the jump heavy punch. Otherwise, you're going to keep getting flipped out like that. It's weird because you're hitting him kind of on his head. You're kind of catching his arm. So many times here I'm messing up, but other times I'm catching it correctly. So it might just be that I'm catching the recovery frames. I'm just catching his hurt ball. Because obviously from here, oh, whoa, did you see the range on that? Oh my god, look at that. See, this is when I learned that if you're about this far, you can almost catch him. Like, look at the range at that. Like, he is out of my range, right, but I'm in his range. You're probably thinking, oh, why don't I use jump heavy kick? Well, because, look, jump heavy kick, right, trades a lot. And that happens as well. Jump heavy kick basically extends Lars's hurt box and doesn't work from this range, and that just happens, so... But jump heavy punch is mysterious. Like, the way it can hit him from like a year away is really good. Each time here I'm messing up, but there's definitely a way to do this. It's definitely have to experiment with timing. So it's not a definitive strategy, it's not one-to-one, because right here I'm missing, right here I'm not getting anything, but here I'm hitting him, right? And it's not exactly possible to combo from this distance, however, with the next thing I'm about to show you, there might be a slight solution. Now check this out. If you stand about here, and then you jump half screen, you can hit him, and his jabs won't get you. Like, you won't flip out or anything, right? Obviously there messed it up. Like, it's the same thing. You have to focus on your spacing, focus on being kind of near the health bar, and right there, you got him. And he can't do anything to you. Right? You're probably thinking to yourself, oh, but what about Lariat? What about Green Hand? Good question. Let's test it out. I did a few tests myself to see what happens if he does Lariat, then he randomly does Green Hand. Well, Green Hand isn't the best because, okay, let's just reset the situation. Say I decide to jump and he does Green Hand. Chances are I'll catch him out. Right? Obviously that whiffed. But the trick was basically, if I could catch him... Because I think the thing about Green Hand is I think neutral jumps are actually quite good against it. So let's try and set this up correctly. Probably should have done more jabs for the Green Hand. So if I do the spacing correctly, obviously I got him there, right? But let's just try and see if we can catch the Green Hand, right? Because, okay, let's see. Around the 2-second mark is when he goes for it. So let's just say... Right, so right there, like you see, you try to do Green Hand, and I just caught him right out of it. So there's no chance that he's going to be able to hit me with that. And then I think the one you need to worry about really is the Lariat. Now this is the one. It's interesting because I think this is the harder one. So okay, let's just do a couple of jabs, right? Let's just do a couple of jabs real quick, and then let's just Lariat, right? Now with this one, I found that if you do the spacing correctly, and then jump, you can actually stuff his lariat. You're probably thinking jumping half screen is stupid, anyone who sees that can mess you up. True and false. If you space it 100% correctly, that jump heavy punch will hit him no matter what. So, because like, basically, you're probably thinking, this is neutral range for both of them, but nah, Lars actually has advantage. If Lars does this correctly, his heavy punch will hit him. It's not that simple though, as you can see, I keep messing it up. What I'm trying to show you is that like, if I can space this correctly, I can hit him out of the lariat. So let's just see. The recording, he does lariat around 3 seconds. So let's just wait for 3 seconds and jump around the 2 second mark and see if I get lariated. Because obviously that's the whole point of this test, otherwise it's pointless. See, about there is where Lars lands, right? He actually lands outside not only his jab range, but also his lariat range. And if I actually space this correctly, watch this. Do you see that? Completely out of his jab range, completely out of his lariat range, able to get a combo to follow up. So, as I said, none of this is a definitive strategy, and all of this still relies on the fact that your opponent might be moving forward or pressing buttons or whatever. But let's just say that, okay, jab fest, jab fest, jab fest. Say you time it correctly, you catch his hitbox like that. Like, look at the range of that. It's crazy, ain't it? Like, you don't expect that a jumping attack's going to hit him from that far. If he tries to green hand, you're going to get hit because the heavy punch is faster than the green hand. Don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect at this. I still need to get the timing. You know, in this case, I'm missing a billion times. See, look at that. It's really bizarre how far it goes because I'm really catching him out. Like, if I do it too soon, I land in it. If I do it, you know, wrong, obviously catch him there. But if you experiment with it, you can definitely get him. I know you're probably thinking that jumping isn't the best strategy, but obviously there's that. There's trying to counter poke him for all the good that's worth. But the question is, I don't know if the counter hit trade is in the favor of Lars or, you know, Zangief. So in that instance, you have to be careful. Oh, that was some weird option select. Any other button either doesn't reach or will just get hit by Zangief's jab. So it's like every so often from max distance, Lars can go through it like some magical Falcon Punch and hit him, right? But not all the time. It's like, it's weird because it's like, if you look at it right there, like his fist kind of has to go underneath his arm and hit him in the face. And I don't know where the hurt box on standing heavy punch is, so this is one of those things you have to be worried about. You might think that, I mean, this is kind of insane, but let's just say we're going to go for hard routes, right? So let's just say he's jabbing, right? Obviously this is max range jab where I'm not getting hit and he's not going to be able to hit me, right? The only trick is if I somehow figure out a way to hit him and then just go for a raw launch, since Lars can't do anything with, what's his name? He can't do anything with far heavy punch. Obviously, if Jin or whoever the crap your partner's health is low, you don't want to bring him in, but I'm just saying this is just a good, easy way of damage. And you might be able to just do a switch cancel combo if you really wanted to. So, I don't know. Let's see if I can actually find that sweet spot. I guess it's kind of about there. It's like close enough to get hit, but not so far that you're going to get hit. So, oops. Forgot about the lariat. Yeah, that's obviously going to happen. Let's just say that this person is just going to jab. Let's say no lariat, no nothing else. This person is just going to keep jabbing, right? So, contingent on the fact that they're going to keep jabbing, let's try and hit him with the Falcon Punch and bring in Jin and see what we can do with Jin. I think too close. Still too close. I don't know, it's like the range is really weird. Footsies are a very funny thing. I messed up the combo. I was gonna do a launch combo to bring him in. But don't get me wrong though, in the heat of battle, in a practical situation, you can't exactly bust out some tech like this properly and get away with it, especially if you're supposed to be, oops, jumping the gun there with that launch. Especially if you're supposed to be on the defensive, because mind you, let's just say the Zangief's got you at a really low health and they're jabbing like this. This is a problem. This is something that you're not going to be able to viably just deal with simply by thinking, oh, I'm just going to jump heavy punch, or I'm just going to stand heavy punch. It's not that simple. I'll be the first to admit that. But let's just say that you space it 100% correctly and you just mess him up. Now, I'm still messing it up. See, it's weird. Oh, hold on. I think I figured it out. I think so anyway. I'm just going to keep trying it out. Nope, that wasn't it. That traded. not letting me do the launch combo, but basically you get the idea. The point is to stand at a distance where you're not going to get messed up. Oh, that doesn't work really. I guess I have to move forward. Sorry guys, I'm so scrubby right now. But the point is that obviously you can... like that, whatever. You get the idea. The point is that you can hit him, and I think it's like if you get the max range of his punch, you can basically catch Zangief without being hit yourself. But it's not easy. It's not easy at all. And obviously, you can be counter poked, you can be counter hit, you can be with punished. It's not an exact science. I've said this before. But I guess it's like find a way for Lars's punch to get there without his head getting there. Because if Lars's head gets hit, that's when you've got a problem. So basically, there's that to deal with the the range, right? Not too close. I mean, as a rule of thumb, you can basically just hold back into it, like just in case you're worried. So that way, if you walk into it, maybe you can block if you're not careful, especially if there's like a counter hit or something like that. So that's one of the ways of dealing with it. It's not an exact science, right? It's not 100% guaranteed to work. Look at the amount of times I'm getting hit. As I said before at the beginning of this video, if you want to really deal with it, just block. Sometimes you need to just block. Sometimes you need to throw away your pride and say, you know what, I am not going to deal with this, even though this is a bad matchup, just block. However, I do recommend if you're, you got balls, you're crazy, do something like this, traded, do something like this, and get hit, yep. Or at least just get the range. Actually, no, it's more like here. It's more like some crazy range, like here. If you remember, I hit him from some insane range before. Obviously, that's not it. But, oh, like there. Like, it's nuts, ain't it? So, that range right there is weird to me. It's almost like you're not really hitting him so much as you're whiff punishing him. So, experiment with range and experiment to see how far the neutral jump heavy punch will go. Right? And obviously, watch out for green hand, watch out for lariat, etc. If you're smart enough, if you're paying enough attention, you can probably get a combo afterwards. Maybe not a launch combo, maybe an extended combo, etc. Right? But for the most part, it's still a work in progress. So just remember, far heavy punch on the ground if you can magically catch that Falcon Punch range. Or jumping heavy punch if you basically know what you're doing. So you could definitely hit him out of it. And Lars can be safe as long as you experiment properly with the right ranges. It's not easy though. You know what I mean? Like, the amount of times I'm missing here, but there, it just traded. I mean, best, as I said, pay attention to the bar on the bottom and see how far Lars is spacing himself. And just try and see what range works best for you. Because if you're not playing on, obviously, training stage, all you can rely on is the space of the bar, so there's that. And, yeah, I mean, tell me what you guys can come up with, because this is a work in progress, as I've said. This isn't a definitive strategy to beating Zangief's jabs, because if I actually had something that was just 100% useful, I'd use it all the time, because, as you can see, this isn't exact science, this doesn't work all the time. If I could find a move that could just hit him out of it, and I could get all the advantage, I definitely would. But at the moment, the jump heavy is definitely my best bet. So, I don't know. Tell me what you guys think of the tech. I'll see you guys later. This has been JST, Tips and Tricks. Like, comment, subscribe, rate. You know what is. Donate to my PayPal. I'm just kidding, just kidding. See you later.